So I include this, yeah.
Include what?
Just a slight moving of the camera in absolute silence.
It's so out of focus as well.
Oh, you can explain your setup. Your program.
So I'm running the Logitech hardcore gaming webcam. It's got a feature where it's just really bad, and if you move it, you can't put it back down. Oh, we got it.
Oh. You probably could have
So,
just bullshitted a bunch of numbers and just I would have
Really?
bought it.
Have you seen the Logitech stuff? It's
Once that, we should probably intro this first.
Yes. For sure.
So this is FlubHub episode 4. I need to remember talking to the camera because this is the thing we're doing now.
Episode 3.
Is that? This is episode 4. Well, you might notice continuous viewers might notice a distinct lack of people.
Continuous viewers.
Continuous viewers. Sorry, viewers.
They do not stop.
They don't stop. But yeah, a distinct lack of people, so we say.
But the superior people are here.
Yeah. And this podcast is also almost definitely late, else we would have missed a week. Because
Yep.
It's a bit awkward that, because we have a set time to record, and every week we do have a set time to record, and we usually join, and we start an hour later because we wait for people to join. We should probably just move that back an hour, and just
Probably, yeah. I mean, my feeling, if it's too early, people would be like, "Oh, sorry, I've got dinner," because you got to rule out the dinner excuse,
I mean,
for
that reason.
We have to assume that nobody wants to do this.
I mean,
so
that
we
is
have to take
the
precaution.
mentality we're going on. But yeah, we kind of forgot on the day we usually record, and we're doing it now. And we messaged everyone. We mentioned it yesterday. We messaged everyone today saying, "Oh, we're still on for today," and you can probably tell that they're not really. They weren't.
I like the same excuse is used twice. That is my favourite part.
That has come a couple of times now. A certain person, not going to name any names, has used the same excuse twice.
His name rhymes with Poe Durkham.
I mean, I'm not going to censor. I'm not going to believe it. Yeah.
If only I knew his address.
we put out a lot of addresses. Not even.
Yeah, we
have.
Not just me.
Anyway, so with that house cleaning out of the way.
How am I getting more and more out of focus?
Maybe it's because you're moving and it's trying to focus on you. I'm not sure. But you were talking about the names of technology. So.
Right. Yes. Just Logitech. They cannot name their technology well. There's all this gamer branding, which is it's continuously just cringy. Like the headphones. I'm currently rocking. They're like their G430. Just call them like blue ones. I don't know. If I owned a company, I just have A, B, C,
it's
and
like
D.
How the headphones I use, which are steadily falling apart. Razer Kraken. I like the name more than I should, but it's not really necessary. The Clappen.
The Razer Clappen.
It's like how Larry recently got a new monitor, and it's called like G something Red Eagle, or something like that. It sounds like a call sign for a jet.
I guess what they want to do with like gaming hardware, it has to have the coolest.
They've got to gamify it.
Badass name. They have to gamify. You see, I am the type of person who, if my ideal world is no gender,
fair.
We all look the same.
Fair.
Everything's grey. It's like communism, but not communism. So it's nothing like communism.
It's nothing like it. No. It's like that, but not that.
But when it's choosing things, you have like 4 options, and they're all basically the same. Everyone can do what they want, have what they want,
Mm-hmm.
unless I think it's bad.
In which case, that's a no.
Yeah, so the only colours allowed are grey. I didn't mean racist. Red, dark purple, and pink. Fuck it, why not? Pink is for the gays, which don't exist either.
Nah. Because there's not.
Because they're all one gender.
Of course, there's no gender, so why would there be any sexualities?
Well, yeah, we're all one gender. We can't have kids. We can't have sex. We have no. Honestly, right? Seriously, though, I think the world would be a better place if we had no sexual feelings and humans just came out of the ground. Like, you hug them up, like in Lord of the Rings. In Lord of the Rings, the orcs, or at least the Uruk.
Yeah. Now I remember.
Yeah.
You can see your cogs turning, evidently.
Because, right, how many people murder someone, like, make a mistake, or generally be an asshole or a dickhead because of sexual feelings or thoughts or anything like that?
A few.
Yeah, like, I genuinely, most of the world's problems would have been avoided if humans had no sexual desires.
We wouldn't survive very long, though.
Well, no, but we come out the
in
ground,
this universe,
we come out the ground.
Right, what's the process of growing in the ground before coming out?
You just come out of ground.
You just come out. Do you have to be pulled out, or you just like?
Only the quick come out fast, but most people, the average person, is pulled out.
I'll be honest. No fucking clue how we got onto talking about this. Like,
No, but seriously though, the world would be better in this. Maybe not all the greys. I don't know why I was going with the coloured stuff. But if you removed sexual feelings, we would be a perfect race.
I don't know how much. I can't really add anything to that, unfortunately.
But like 90% of murders are motivated against like a spouse because they cheat or any of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, imagine if we didn't have a spouse. 90% of murders would go away. I've just solved 90% of murders. I am Francois Truffaut. Yeah.
So. Nah, can't think of anything to add, to be honest.
Shaking my head.
Right.
Got another topic?
Can we talk about the setup that you briefly showed off at the beginning, which I'm keeping in?
The setup?
Yeah, the camera. You just describe it. You don't have to.
So there's an application called Droid Cam, which links to a Android phone, and I've legally pirated it on both my computer and my phone, and it connects your phone and uses your phone's camera. Although it seems to degrade the quality by like 60%, and then add like a blurred filter onto it.
You look like you've got permanent Gaussian blur setting.
I've done interviews with this setup, genuinely.
So how is by setup? I'm all meant. How is your phone propped up right now?
So it's on a glass, which on the top of the glass, my Alexa is there, and then my phone is leaning. It's my monitor on top of the Alexa. And if I actually have my mic up, you can see my mic. So.
You see, basically playing Jenga.
It's pretty gang shit, not gonna lie. Basically, I'm one fart away from the whole setup falling down.
Well, the reason I bring it up is not purely to shame you on your setup, because that's not.
Or just to flex with your streamer setup.
I'll be honest, it's almost falling off my webcam, because nah, that does turn into a flex now. All right. The reason I'm pointing it up is because I had an idea for a video for my own channel, which I wanted to make, and I thought, I kind of want a camera like facing this way towards me. I was like, what do I put it on? Because I would get that sorted out. So I actually have an old mic stand like this one, which I still have it. So I thought, I'll put it on here. Then I realised, that the camera won't fit, right? So what it turned into was one mic stand holding a microphone, another mic stand with a webcam precariously on it, sellotaped to it.
Nice.
And it took like 40 minutes to figure out how I wanted it set up. And then I realised I recorded like a bit of a video. Then I realised I hate this, so that was an hour wasted.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it's just kind of precariously hanging on. And for like my online lessons at the minute, for one lesson in particular, they want us to use cameras. Well, one bit, in general, they wanted the cameras to be on like first 15 minutes. I mentioned this before. And they mentioned it saying, they want to make sure that, doing work and not just joining it and falling asleep, which I have done.
Yeah, no, I've done that.
But they did a whole thing about it in one of my online lessons. And I say, alright, so from next week onwards, we're going to be doing that. And the next week came, there's not been a mention of it since. So I've kind of got this webcam for no particular reason now. but one lesson in particular wanted us to use webcams. And it's one of those where we didn't have it for like weeks. And then all of a sudden, apparently we have it now. And that's not being communicated well to us. Much like most things.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And what happened is, I generally keep like a tab for like the emails and like the online stuff they want us to do. So I see it and I join it. And there's supposed to be 15, 20 people. And there was 3, including myself. And they wanted us to use cameras, and they weren't. They sure as hell weren't going to do them. So I didn't. So now I just said, like last week, it said, because when people were there, it's like, I'm getting camera set up. I had it set up. I'm getting camera set up. So this week, I was like, all right. I even cleaned my room a little bit to make it look like not what it was. And what I say, it's just the eyeline, really. And I was all ready, and there was like just 2 other people. So I didn't end up using a cam in the end. No,
could you not argue that if you had used the cam, they might have turned theirs on?
You could make that argument.
But I wasn't willing to test it.
No, I'm not willing to test it, no. That's really the end of my story for that. I've done fuck all this week.
I know what you mean. With the online stuff, I have like, in my lectures, there's like 2 people who have their camera on, and they're both these like 40-something old men. And they have their camera like, here, they're sat on a sofa, and their legs are like, like this. Like, you can see everything, and they're just there like, the entire thing.
They've clearly not done anything like that before, up until now.
Either they can't see themselves on their camera, they don't know their camera's on, or they just don't care. Which, admittedly, their 40 years is probably all 3.
I mean, for me, it's like, because there's 1 or 2 people, or it's mainly 1 person who actually uses their camera in lesson.
Yeah.
Or like when we're doing classes, and I was like, they use their webcam on, so I will. But again, only 2 people other than me joined. 2 other people joined, and it was like, those 2 people are not the person who had their camera on. And this is the first time I've used camera for anything YouTube related. So it's like, it's not getting easy. The majority of the reason why I hated the video that I spent an hour wasting my time on was because I hate how I look on camera. Hate that. Nothing about that comes across as natural. So it's just like, fuck it.
I feel like having a camera only helps if it aids the video, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Which I think it would have, had it not been for the me factor in that video. If you get what I mean.
The
Like,
me factor.
when you're coming in from a perspective of yourself, when you're like, it's like when you hear your voice on a video for the first time. It's not good.
Really, yeah. Send it to me. I'll edit it. Yeah.
Not letting you see that. It's like, it reminds me of when like I did the first video where like Fraser was in it. I think it was a League video. And literally the first thing he said, I don't know if it was in a comment, it was the first thing he said to me after that video was uploaded is, "Do I sound that dopey?"
Yes, you do, Fraser. Yes, you do.
He does. Is he even aware that we're doing the podcast is a thing? He must have seen the chat.
Not.
Yeah, but yeah.
No, he doesn't.
But yeah, getting used to like a camera in general, because like we've been using cameras like when we've been just like playing on Siege, which has been a nightmare for a different reason recently. But it's just been I find it a lot more engaging in that sense. I say in that sense, I didn't specify which sense, but in that sense.
Whenever the camera's on, I'm like, right, what stupid thing can I do? What's that? Put shaving cream on your face? Yeah, sure, why not?
In between ranked rounds.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, I do feel not a pressure, but an opportunity to at least appear more entertaining, which is is something that I want to do, you know.
Yeah, understandable.
Or at least work on being on camera.
No, I want to be as unentertaining as possible.
You say that sounds pretty entertaining in itself.
Yeah, admittedly, yeah, true.
But yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how all media works, isn't it? Terrible will always be better than mediocre.
Yeah.
Thus, FlubHub, God tier.
God tier.
Absolutely huge.
But doesn't some of that lose the charm when you play into it? Like the 7 other Birdemics they made after the first one.
No, I see no issue with that. Ditching
no.
returns? What are you on about? Madness?
Yeah.
Well, that's why it's integral that all members turn up to every episode.
Yeah. Or at least have a minimum of not 2.
More than 1? Less than 1? You're probably doing something wrong. More than 1? Now that.
You're making progress.
You're onto something. Alright, there's something I would like to bring up.
Good, because I think we've talked about cameras for long enough.
Probably, yeah. So what you're saying is all the people who were watching this are now gone. So my amazingly interesting subject.
I mean, we did have your birthing process.
True.
You
Well, my ideal world. Yeah, true. So I tried Hellblade yesterday.
You have played it before, yes?
No. Yes, I've played it before. It was normal Hellblade. This is VR Hellblade.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that does have VR, doesn't it? How is that?
Yes. I played about 15 minutes and then stopped because I was this close to running to the toilet. It's third person VR. It does this. It has a comfort setting, which does worse for you than like if it just. So basically, when it's a cutscene and the camera moves around things back to cameras, it has this. It basically goes out of VR and it like goes on a TV screen in front of you. Then when you're playing the game, it goes back to VR.
Oh yeah.
Which is fine because apart from the fact that when you're in the cutscene, you get used to being in this like TV setup, and then it jumps to VR, and you're back to acclimating to it. Where all it could have done is just have you constantly be in VR and just brute force you into getting used to it. But it keeps you get used to it, and then it goes cutscene time. Remember what TVs look like, and then you're back in VR.
So what you're saying is they were weak-willed.
Admittedly, it's yes, they would. But making anything
I'm joking. I love
like
the game.
A VR and third person is just always going to be a bad idea. But the thing is, right? You know the graphics, they are the same. runs the same. I've no idea how they've done it, but it's genuine. I loaded in, I was like, it looks so good. Oh my god.
How was the audio? Because if you don't know, the game works on like your character, for various reasons, is hearing all these different voices in your head.
Yeah, absolutely schizo. Fucking schizo, man.
That's legitimately what they. Yeah, and
yeah,
it's like you have to play it with, not gatekeeping, but you have to play it with like surround sound to get like.
Yeah. Actually, if you don't play it with sound,
it's just
they
not
have
as
like
good.
mercenaries that come to your house, and they just kill you. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
not
just
even a
how
warning.
it
You don't even get a warning. You don't even get a warning.
Yeah.
But how
And
was
they-
the audio? Sorry to stop you in your mercenary van.
I took my headset off 3 times because I thought someone came into my room.
I mean, it's
It's,
effective.
I wish. I don't think I'm gonna finish it with VR. I just wish it didn't do this weird effect. But it's such a good game,
It is.
and it's so
I've been
annoying.
wanting to replay it. 'Cause
But yeah.
It's one of the few games where I played it through it in its entirety in like one sitting.
Yeah, it's like 6 hours, and I played it all in one sitting, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do this all in one sitting in VR. 10 minutes, I'm like.
I mean, I can barely do basic VR motion, so I'm not going anywhere near that. Assuming I had VR, which I don't. But yeah, it's just that's entirety. Yeah, I'm trying to think what else did I actually have to talk about? So I had fuck all until about 10 minutes before we started, and I've forgotten all of it. It always happens like that. So, oh yeah, Thumper. You know, when that game you played at mine at one bit, Thumper. You know, like when you're a scarab. That's VR.
No, I got it in VR. Yeah.
How is it?
I played it for about 5 minutes and then.
I'm noticing a pattern here.
No, I didn't. Admittedly, I enjoyed it. It just I wasn't vibing with it. So
which is quite necessary for a VR game, I imagine.
Yeah, I was in my big. I mean, I'm still in the big Beat Saber phase. I was like, why the fuck would I play this when I can just play Beat Saber? Also, on the note of Beat Saber, so I play Beat Saber at my accommodation, and I let a lot of people play it. So there's lots of people who know me as the Beat Saber person.
I mean, you do have the hours to account for that.
Yes, it's pretty bad. It's 95 now. I'm so close to 100. But yeah, and about once or twice a week, I will get someone who sends me a Beat Saber clip and be like, oh, "Can you do this?" And half the time, it's the most basic song in the world, but it's just a funny song. It's like, I can do this, but. And like today, someone sent me, Rush B, the piano song that you physically cannot play on piano. It's one of those ones that starts off, it is one note, and then by the end of the song, they're spelling Rush B out in piano notes. It's like,
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, no, I tried playing it. About 10 seconds in and immediately failed.
Yeah, do you remember that song I sent you? The very heavy metal one, which I attempted at yours. Yeah, with an inordinate amount, a humongous amount of blast beats, which literally just has your fucking.
Admittedly, I might be able to do it now because I'm getting scarily good at the game, but I feel like it's one of those things, like with any sport, where you don't realize that you're getting good or anything like that because it's just muscle memory. Where that Beat Saber, half the time through a song, I'm not thinking about I've got to hit this, I've got to hit that. I'm thinking about like Minecraft or something like that, just kind of hitting things, and then I'll be like, ah! Yeah, which in a way is kind of annoying because I have no idea how to make myself better. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to think of ludicrous segue into what I wanted to talk about next. Speaking of wanting to improve at things
Seen
and
that?
getting better.
See that ludicrous
Ludicrous
segue
display
from Brandon
last
last night.
Yeah. It has been about a year or over. No, it's over a year now since I last played volleyball, which is the only sports which I've really gotten into ever.
Yeah.
And I got into it about 2 years ago. Fuck, that's weird to think about. That's weird. I got into about 2 years ago, and I obviously for the last year I haven't played any. And it was like first time where I properly got into a sport, which was like improving health. Like mine was not that mine was dog shit, but it was like one healthy thing I could cling to. Just I do this. And
no, I know what you mean.
it was just getting to the point where I felt like I was improving or had improved a bit, and then pandemic happened. So and I've done very little exercise in this last year.
The pandemic has really, I think it's just paused, lives. Like, it's so annoying because we are essentially, supposedly, at the best time of our lives is around our
It's news to
age.
me.
Well, just think about what's coming for you then. And it's just it's so typical of our group. I'm not saying that it's us who caused the coronavirus to happen, but the group
or
of
that's
our
we're
luck is
suffering,
usually...
or that we're the ones suffering the most, because I don't think we are.
Oh no. But it's just so typical that it's happened now.
Because it's just unfortunate.
How do you think the lockdown has affected you then? Apart from the sport thing, obviously.
Well, for me, obviously it's meeting up with you guys whenever I could. Because despite like a whole like uni situation with everyone, I felt like we were still able to meet up a decent amount.
Yeah.
For what it was. And
we still went to see Sonic.
But that's the last movie I saw in cinema.
Yeah.
Other people had fucking Parasite. I had Sonic.
I had Tenants, get shot on.
It was so close to being a different movie. That was the last one I saw as well. But I guess that's another thing. Not going to the cinema, which is a main thing that I did. Like, probably an uncomfortable amount going to the cinema.
I'm so surprised you never got one of those like passes.
Yeah. But other than that, like, I'm fairly introverted. Like, I don't drink. I don't go out clubbing or anything like that. So it wasn't too much of an adjustment for me, at least.
Yeah.
For a while. Like. When it first like got into lockdown, that was like near the final project of like that year of my course. So and it was the actual work was fine. It's that time when I had a tutor who was a good shooter, who was a nice shooter, but rambled a lot. Like. I had a long lesson one day. I a long lesson. Like, it was at least... I don't know, because they changed it so much between now and then, but it was before they changed a lot of the timings to accommodate online lessons, so it was just one big lesson. And I got done in about an hour and a half Googling stuff than I did in that, like, 4 or 5 hour lesson. Which is not to say I'm smart. I just followed tutorials I found online.
That's something that I'm learning, is that a lot of stuff that we learn, half the time, you could just learn it online for free.
Yeah, or at least in a somewhat more succinct way. I think it helps having a mentor a lot, but obviously they've got a
sensei. One could say
a senpai.
A senpai, yes.
But where lockdown's concerned, like the last month or two, I felt it getting to me properly for the first time.
Yeah.
Part of it's because it's just been such a long time, and the lack of exercise, which is partly on me for being too lazy and procrastinating.
Yeah, but I feel like it adds up, doesn't it?
It does add up, and with like the lessons or classes that I have at the minute aren't the most fun. Because I don't have too many, and they're only about 2 hours each. But I don't feel like I'm learning too much in them. For either spending like the first 20 minutes making sure everyone's there, and like another.
Oh my God.
No, go on. I'll continue after.
No, I was just gonna say I have that a lot where you just kind of sit in a lesson like, oh, we'll just wait for some more people to join. They're never coming. They're doing what most students do, and they're still asleep. Can we just start this so I can sleep? Come on.
Yeah, like for mine, it's gotten to a point where I count for that. Like I wake up like an hour early because early before the lesson starts, so like get breakfast, all that kind of stuff, and and I'm just like watching YouTube until like the call appears or comes up, and then like I'll just continue watching YouTube for about another 5-10 minutes, maybe more, because I know it won't start for a little while. But it ends at the same time, so it doesn't account for the.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, it's just the main thing for me is just the motivation to do the work. But it's to do anything really, but especially work.
No, I'm feeling that.
Especially when a lot of the time, it's like a tutors say, "Oh, you can always come to us to ask for help," which is true, but it's such a roundabout way for getting feedback. like I have to either go to this place, or I need to email them with this work, attach these documents, which may or may not be finished yet, which is why I'm asking them what to do, or stuff like that. And there'll be times where I've done quite a bit of work for like this unit, or like this year so far, and I've received feedback twice.
Nice.
One of the time I had to ask for it. So, but it's mainly just a motivation to do it. Which is hitting me most. Because there's this piece of work at the minute where I could probably get it done fairly easy. It will probably take 2-3 hours, but it's taking days, and it's still not done.
No, I know how that feels.
I realise this is a particularly heavy episode of a podcast. About how usual it is. It's fine. We'll get back to talking about poop soon.
Gotta have them poop talks. Yeah.
But other than that, it's motivating to do what I actually like doing as well. Like I had a whole period of I had a phase of playing through quite a few single player games earlier this year, and I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
But then I just stopped having motivation to do it, except wanting to play them.
Yeah.
Like, my motivation goes through phases, I realise, of what it wants to do. Like, it was games, then it was making YouTube videos, which I made. No. Which I guess it's gone into this a little more. But, let's be honest, it is a little bit more low effort than my usual. And now it's just watching stuff that I've been meaning to catch up on for ages.
Yeah. Do you ever have that thing where you want to start something, but then you don't finish it or even start it because you're like, I know halfway through this, I'm just going to move on to something else?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Which I, like, when I'm working on videos, I have changed it into, like, instead of getting burnt out on one, I literally just like switch between a couple, depending on what I'm feeling, which is slower and it's not as efficient, but I feel like work gets done better that way. But it's literally just, do I feel like making this video? And if I feel like making a video, I know it'll be decent. If I don't feel like making a video, it's gonna be shit. For that reason, there's not been many videos
out. Yes, admittedly, I've been producing many videos, obviously. Dibby Productions is going huge.
You know you're on the featured channels of this.
Of course.
When I was like changing around a bunch of the art, I had like I just added us two as the featured channels.
This is how it be.
Another thing is I want to make more. Yeah. Another thing is I want to make more videos, like of a multiplayer variety, while I work on these bigger stuff I want to do. But it's a bit difficult with the horrendous lag I've been getting recently. These games are unplayable, and trust me, they're unwatchable from a video standpoint. Still convinced we got dots on Siege yesterday.
Oh yeah, no, we probably did. Because I think that this only ever happened to me one time when I was in ranked, but that was at like high plat, which I can understand.
Because the whole thing is, we went into a ranked game, and me, well, in fact, the three of us that were playing, me, Dan, and Larry, have been struggling with internet in general for a little while.
Yes. Varying
varieties. But we joined this game, and it was like worse than usual.
Well, what set it off is that it wasn't just us, because if it had just been us three, it's like, normal every day. Us having 1,000 ping, chill. But it was our entire team, including two randoms who had continuous MS problems.
Which for me felt like
kicked from the game.
Yeah, I got kicked immediately. Luckily, I managed to rejoin.
Yeah.
But
also, it was kind of different lag where
we can tell
all at the same time froze.
Yeah.
Like in place, rather than normally, like, things you do don't happen or X, Y, or Z. But yeah, no, we definitely got DDoSed.
And being, the enemy players shooting us through walls or just locking onto our heads also kind of gave it away a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Like when you were just walking towards a doorway and they just started firing at head height.
Yeah, immediately.
In a way, I realised they might have just been able to predict that, but it was in a way which was...
Yeah, I feel like either they were lagging or we definitely wanted to find an excuse. Yeah. Admittedly, there's something that that video games have made me believe in.
Go on. It sounds like you had more to say about that.
And that's that God exists. I know God exists, and God exists, and he is a cruel man. He's definitely a man, that's for sure.
God is not a woman.
God is not a woman. We were made in his image. Women, you're just... Anyway. And it's because of the siege effect that happens in every competitive game.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
It is not purely coincidence. It is God's way of punishing gamers. Every time you hold an angle, you're looking down your sight, ready. Yeah. You're like, the siege effect.
Yeah, when
you're like, right, I'm going to hold this angle, someone's going to come. You hold it for 5 minutes straight, and the minute you turn around, someone will come down. The minute you want to reload your gun, what's that? That's their entire team.
Thing is, I'm still...
It is a real effect.
It is. It's a universal thing. What I'm trying to figure out...
It definitely isn't selection bias.
No, definitely not. But what I've noticed is, I'm trying to figure out if it's more annoying of when you're turning away, you see the person peek and they kill you, or you turn around and then you get domed from behind. I still don't know which one I
Shot
find
in the
more
back
annoying.
is definitely worse. What is worse is reloading. Either when you reload or you like check your phone. Actually, no, checking your phone is just kind of you were an idiot.
But you'll have like most of a mag left, and no one's approached this corner in 3 minutes. So you might as well, like, every bullet counts. And then the moment you take out the magazine, you're gone.
There's a moment in, I think, one of Soviet Womble's videos on his, I think it's his Rising Storm Vietnam one, where the exact thing happens. I'm like, it is real. God punished him because of all the racism in that video. It is God. I'm religious now.
Right then.
On that note, I have a question.
Go on, because I was lost for words.
Is soup a drink?
Soup is soup.
No, soup is a drink.
You can drink soup.
You can drink soup. Thus, it is a drink. It is a liquid, which is a drink.
Yeah, there's things that are liquids which you might not necessarily call a drink.
No, soup is a drink. Go on then, throw them at me.
Okay.
I'll shoot you down. That's a well, no, that's different because it can change states. That's different because it can change states.
Acid. Hydrochloric acid.
Acid.
Hydrochloric acid. It's a liquid. Would you call it a drink?
Go on, put it in a bottle. I'll drink it.
You got me there.
I
You
drink
floored
anything,
me.
drink
I
acid.
have no response for that. I'm desperately trying to think of stuff to talk about because I did have some.
What would your lightsaber color be?
I think I'm a basic bitch, so it'd probably be blue. But I'm also an edgy boy, so I'd want it to be the black lightsaber. Predictable much, I know.
Oh yeah, should we talk about the whole Mandalorian racist tweets thing?
I've not been able to escape it, so yeah. Let's go.
Go on.
I don't watch Mandalorian. You brought it up.
The only reason I bring it up is okay. So in the Mandalorian, there's that really strong woman. Her
Carl or something.
Dibby
I know who you
Dosa.
mean. Yeah.
So Dibby Dosa, didn't she? It was something I can't remember. It's something about Republicans being compared to Jews or something, like 1940s Jews. Right, let me Google what.
Yeah,
she
because
said.
the thing is, I've seen a lot of. Thing is, on Twitter, I follow a lot of people, and a lot of the people I follow hate other people that I follow. So I've seen like various takes on it, but I just not known enough about the situation to make a call.
Yeah.
But it's just because I've seen
Oh,
like.
I've got her Instagram story.
Go on then.
So she said, during the Holocaust, Jews were beaten in the street not by Nazi soldiers but by their neighbors. Because history is edited, most people today don't realize that to get to the point where Nazi soldiers could easily round up thousands of Jews, government first made their own neighbors simply hate them for being Jews. How is this different from hating someone for their political views?
Well, I thought it'd be worse. For all the
Yeah,
promotion that I've
I
seen,
did
I
as
thought
well.
it'd be a lot worse than.
Well, yeah, because Disney came out being like, oh, what she said was
Abhorrent was the quote that I saw.
abhorrent and unacceptable. Yeah.
Which is like you can, like I saw a certain perspective on it, and it's just like you can agree with that or you can disagree with that, but it does make Disney slightly hypocritical for them, the like thanking the certain officials. Yeah, like you can disagree with it, fine, but I won't describe it as abhorrent or worthy of the amount of shit I've seen on Twitter and Reddit.
Yeah, I really don't understand what was wrong with it.
I thought it was a lot worse.
It's literally just because she brought Jews up. That's it.
Yeah.
You mentioned Jews
and the Holocaust. So
I still love how what's his face? Donald Trump Jr. wanted to get Pedro Pascal cancelled as well.
I think I might have heard this, but I don't know enough about it.
I mean, so because he because he mocked trans people putting pronouns in their bios. Even though there's I think it's his sister who came out as trans, and she was,
and he was like, by all accounts, very supportive of
yeah. Also, what I find quite funny is Donald Trump Jr. trying to get someone cancelled when isn't it right wing people who hate cancel culture the most?
If it fits your agenda, it seems to be like
they'll
use it. So the whole thing with the like Disney saying those comments are abhorrent. I saw a perspective which was like looking at Mulan and then thanking like certain officials or the near area of one of the concentration camps that was near where they filmed. It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
Mamma mia.
it's just like you can have the perspective. Bit hypocritical. Like I am getting some things wrong there, but I know it's not a good look for Disney. What they actually, how they actually thank certain people in that situation.
Disney will always be one of the companies that I just find morally objectionable in everything they do.
Or bankrupt, do you mean? It would be another way of putting it.
Well, as an I object to their morals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's shit like when you watch like a mainstream film and there's like a wasn't it Big Hero 6 which kind of warned against like in this big industry and things like that.
There's been a couple.
Like the villain was it's Amelia, any kind of media thing that is like, oh, companies are bad, everybody.
Yeah.
Monopolies are bad, and then you look at who made them, and you're like, okay. it's like, you know, Cyberpunk gets a lot of hate, but Cyberpunk does. And so does GTA. It's, I mean, come on, man, you're like some of the biggest people in the industry.
At some point, it just does become comedically ironic. Like,
yeah, but it's like if a multi-murder made a film like murder's bad, everybody. Don't do a murder.
It's like when Elon Musk like put a fuck ton into CD Projekt Red's stocks or something, and regardless of how you feel about him, it's a bit funny about like how the game portrays corporations or certain individuals with that much power and money.
Yes, yeah, he would be a villain in.
He'd be a fucking corporal rat.
He would.
Are you finished that yet?
Oh, yeah,
or has it uninstalled itself again?
I have not finished it yet. I keep meaning to. I do not have any motivation to do. I mean, that's fair. I don't know. I couldn't connect. Also, I hate Elon Musk fans, and with this whole like Dogecoin stock thing that's gone down has created so many more Elon Musk fans, and it hurts when I'm trying to like do fucking meme stonk research so I can, you know, scam some people. And you see all the, right, so with Dogecoin, which is kind of a meme cryptocurrency, it will never be good. It has no, there's loads of reasons why, and people are like, oh no, it will be good, haha. Elon Musk keeps tweeting out Dogecoin, which makes the price shoot up, and then it immediately shoots back down because it's just a hype stock. And it was so funny. So Elon Musk was like, oh, I'm going to make a big crypto investment. And it was like, oh, it's going to be Dogecoin. It's going to be Dogecoin. And then Elon Musk puts Tesla. He makes Tesla.
Yeah.
Put into Bitcoin. And Dogecoin just filled up. Have we been betrayed? Did Elon Musk betray us? Yes. Elon Musk put 1.5 billion into a crypto that actually makes sense to put it into. He was just doing this as a meme to take the piss, and you've all been played.
Thing is, with I guess you'd call it a fandom or stands.
Yeah,
no, it would be stands, wouldn't it? Would be more accurate to describe.
I suppose.
But it's just interesting seeing people gravitate to people or ideas like that, because all I can think of with stands for Elon Musk is that they desperately want to be him but lack the facilities to. It's all I can think of. Is just they just desperately want to be him.
What do you mean? You mean they lack the emerald mine?
They lack the farthest emerald mine, which is literally the only thing I know about Elon Musk. But yeah. Also, speaking of stands,
flex your neck muscles.
But I don't know.
Sorry.
it took me far too long to realise the meaning behind the phrase "stands." It's just like, oh, it's that Eminem video, isn't it?
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
I-
It took me so
What's
long.
quite funny is I was hanging out with K-pop people who are the people who used Stan the most.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, is that from the Eminem song? They were like, no, no, it's not. And I was like, okay, so you mean it's not from this one called Stan about a fan, right? Yeah, okay.
It goes a bit too far.
And then I slapped them.
You
added
slapped them
to my
vigorously.
K-pop dungeon.
What else? Oh, I've been. I said earlier, I've been watching stuff recently, catching up on stuff. Mainly anime weeb shit, because I hadn't watched any about like a year and a half, 2 years. So I'm catching up on one, and I managed to come across one which I feel is very underrated. I'm going somewhere with this. Hopefully entertaining.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I know. Pressure's on. But it was called Akudama Drive, and it's probably one of my favourites ever. And it's one of those where I went in just expecting a fun show with good animation, which I did get. But I realised after I'd finished it, and I absolutely love it, that it's just Suicide Squad. It's very much better than Suicide Squad, but it's just Suicide Squad, and
That's got to be a heartbreaking realization.
It is a bit, but it is very good. So
what is this? Some kind of Suicide Squad?
Literally, it's the same plot as they wear necklaces that will blow their head up if they disobey orders.
Bro, that literally is, yeah.
And they're
But
put
does it
on
have
a
Killer
suicide
Croc?
mission. No.
Well, it's terrible. Reported.
Does it have
10
one of the
10 out of
characters
10.
doing this with a smile tattoo?
I actually think Jared Leto's Joker was a really brave portrayal of mental illness.
What, with his tattoo damaged on his forehead?
Yeah, that's like, you have to be damaged to have that. Like that's brave.
Speaking of
you,
which,
you have to admit.
have you seen the new photos of Jared Leto as the Joker for the Snyder cut of Justice League?
Oh yeah, can we talk about the Snyder Cut?
I mean, I brought it up, so it'd be rude of me to say no.
Have you heard of the Snyder Cut of The Witcher 3?
No, I have not.
So CD Projekt Red got hacked because they needed that on top of all the other shit going on.
Yeah.
And one of the threats that their hackers had for if they didn't give them the money they wanted was that they're going to release the unreleased version of The Witcher.
Didn't the
people-
message
because-
say epically pwned or something?
Well, it's a typical hacker
Yeah.
tactic. They want to look not professional. I can't remember
I mean,
why. But
it's
a thing.
effective.
It's a
but,
thing. Yeah. And pwned is hacker talk in it, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, and there are already people being like, "Oh, this Witcher 3 is unreleased. Oh my god, it's gonna be so much better than The Witcher." I hate that it's Snyder Cut logic, where if anything is unreleased, it's immediately better than the released project.
That is just weird.
Are
That
you
just
gonna
makes me
watch-
think it's unfinished. When you
Are you gonna watch the Snyder Cut, by the way?
We'll put it this way. You know how I'm capable of watching shit movies, but not
Sorry,
even
I
not.
just googled the Snyder Cut. That looks like a Halloween outfit. Oh, when you edit this, you better put it up on screen and slowly zoom
Where, is
into
this
his
the
face.
Jared Leto Joker?
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I was getting back, well, not even getting back, when I was properly getting to going to the cinema consistently again, you know I'm capable. Like, I enjoy the Transformers movies. That's to give you.
Did you?
Yeah, I do. I've said this multiple times. I hesitate to call it a personality trait, but
It is.
I went to the cinema with a friend of mine to see Justice League. I wasn't too excited, I'll be honest. and it got about 40 minutes in, an hour in, and it was like that first time at the cinema when I thought, this isn't good. This isn't. This is shit. And then it's such a nothing movie to me now. Like, I forget it's a thing.
That's the worst thing about when you go see a bad film at the cinema when you're not with like a big group of friends that are fun with you talking, is that you can't pull your phone out and just.
That's what I miss quite a bit, but it's such a nothing movie.
We were the bad people at movies, you know, the one everyone talks shit about.
Oh, definitely.
Because we were just a group of kids all in a blob throwing shit at each other,
do you remember
laughing our asses off.
Do you remember when we, how many of us was it? We all went to see John Wick 2.
It was so many of us. It was like 10 or something.
Yeah, it was. One thing I am fortunate about cinemas being closed is setting up fucking going to the cinema all at once. It's a nightmare.
Yeah, it was.
It's horrible. Because we managed to go as a group quite a few times to movies, but it's taxing. Especially...
But there always was like a couple of people who just made it difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I was very much on that. I'm on that shit when it comes to being organised for seeing movies, because I take that seriously. Going to the cinema.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. To a dismay of others, but I know. Thing is, whenever it was like a day or two before we'd like go and see a movie, I'd like go to message and I'd try and pull. Sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't. I'd pull back, but just because like I'm coming across as very nagging, which I'm aware. But at the same time, I know that there'll be one or two people who will just make it difficult.
There are some people who say nothing but want to go. They are the worst people when you're like, who wants to go here? And then you'll get no replies, and then you'll talk to them and go, oh, what happened with that thing?
But I'll go back to John Wick 2 in a second. But when I think it was me, Joe, Adam, maybe Larry, we're going to see Spider-Verse. And it was like my second time seeing it, so I wasn't as big on the nagging
I wish
part.
I had seen Spider-Verse at the cinema.
So good. And Fraser was also going. Is what we thought. Because we got there, we got there a couple of minutes early, not like as it was starting, like maybe 2-3 minutes early, and we managed to get everything. We were in as the ads were about to start, and then we send Fraser a message saying, movie's starting, by the way, and he says, I'm at home.
That's such a Fraser thing.
But the funny thing is, his dad drove him there, and he made it before the movie started. He managed to get the correct seats because we sent him out 7 up the seats we were in. Sorry, Fraser, by the way, about all this, but it's funny. And he managed to get there on time
Fraser.
as the movie was about to start. And if it was anyone else, they would have missed part of the movie. They would have missed the beginning of the movie. But how? I don't know how it...
Yeah.
It worked for him.
His dad saved his ass. What happened? Admittedly, on the whole note of because of the Rona, I don't think we're going to be able to see films as a group for quite a long while.
Oh,
because so let's say coronavirus stopped today, or not stopped today, but
drastically decreased from where it's point.
I still think we won't be able to have group bookings in cinemas for a while, and when we will, cinemas are going to be the busiest thing.
Yeah, because all of the movies are going to be coming out at...
Half the places, well, and also no one's been for so long. Yeah. Also, half the places that we'd normally go to have probably shut down.
Yeah, like I know Odeon shut down. I know Cineworld shut down. Or at least something bad.
Well, no, Cineworld is gone.
Is it gone?
I think. Well, there's one UK company that they had to liquidate everything and they were bankrupt.
Huh.
And it was a massive issue because as they were liquidating their stuff, which meant that everything was closed, no one could do anything, they were still charging people for the monthly ticket things, which annoyed quite a lot of people, I imagine.
Justly so. I only went to Cineworld like twice. Once for Wall-E when I was very young.
Too American.
Once for Wall-E when I was very young, and then once for the first Avengers. It was too loud.
Yes.
It's too bassy. The audio. I didn't like it.
They got good seats though.
They did good seat, but then the light opened. But yeah, John Wick 2. That might be the most amount of people we've got to go at once and actually have it work out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I remember you decided to get one of the largest slushies, and I lent you the money for it. I was almost in tears laughing because it was so tall but so thin.
Yes, I remember.
We sat next to each other for the movie, and it wouldn't fit in the cup holder, so you kind of wedged it in. But it was so large that it covered like a fifth of the screen for me, and you took it out immediately. But it's just funny. But wait, look, because it had that whole group dynamic of everyone's having fun. Do you remember when I accidentally dive bomb into the seats when I fell?
Yes.
I went to the toilet and just came back, and I just full on dive bomb into the seats accidentally.
I've no idea how he never got kicked out as well. The only film I've ever nearly gotten kicked out was Suicide Squad. Actually, I went with one other person, and I think I've told you this before.
Can't quite remember.
Their name is Pooh and High, but if you change some of the yeah. So we went to see Suicide Squad together.
I do remember you saying you saw it. You saw it, yeah.
Yeah, he bought the biggest thing of popcorn he could, and he sat the entire film eating it with his mouth open. It was disgusting. And then he spent the entire film just shouting at the screen. It was a packed cinema, literally packed. Throwing popcorn, fucking hell, Joker, what the fuck? Killer crap, what the fuck? And people were telling him to shush, and I was genuinely like this.
Oh, I'm not with him.
Yeah, and the people came around with that, and I literally said to him like, shut up. And he was like, oh, but yeah, I can't imagine if, right, so in an alternate reality, he goes on a date with someone. He's let's go to the cinema. So they sit down. And she's like, oh, this is so nice. It's like a rom-com or something. Pulls out the popcorn.
Fucking hell! But yeah.
But yeah.
I've never been. I don't think I've been close to being kicked out of a cinema. But it's entirely possible I'm just not aware that I was close to being kicked out of the cinema. It's only when we'd be in a group. It's only when we'd be in a group that I feel like that would happen to me.
I feel like to get kicked out of the cinema, you have to genuinely harass someone or be recording the film.
Mm-hmm. I've seen. I remember what did I see? I think it was because I managed to see either the Dragon Ball movie, most recent one, or it might have been it was the Dragon Ball one at the cinema, and I loved it despite not knowing anything about Dragon Ball really. But there was just someone in front of me, or just slightly to the left of me, which just recorded the entire thing on their phone. It was so distracting. It was sending me. It's like I want to.
Did they have that out?
They weren't subtle.
Yeah,
they weren't
I feel like
subtle.
Well, you got to get a steady frame,
I'm trying to think of movies that I want to see when it's possible.
Well, I think what every cinema's going to do is because all the companies are now releasing stuff online, they're just going to rescreen old classics. I know there's places going to do.
I know some did
Lord
that
of the Rings
before.
thing, probably.
They should. I want to see the new James Bond, and I'm not even big into James Bond, but that looks fun.
I only want to see it because it's got Rami Malek in it.
I mean, that's entirely fair. That's more the reason why I want to see it. And I knew what's.
That's why the best Old Boy is the Spike Lee version.
You can't say that without smirk. I can see you.
Because Mr. Rock fucking dies. It's really sad. That's actually the tragedy of Old Boy.
That sounds like a video essay that exists about Old Boy.
The tragedy.
I want to see the Batman movie because it's done by Matt Reeves.
I can't believe you took me to see, and make it sound like it's a date night. You took me to see Batman vs Superman. I can't believe you did that to me.
It's the thing. I didn't.
Yes, you did.
It was a certain someone's birthday who shall not be named, and they wanted
Well,
to
do what I do.
No, it's too obvious of a name.
Was it Baker Dolliver?
No. Because we saw it was around about the same year. We saw Don't Breathe for mine.
Right. I swear it was you.
It wasn't. It wasn't. I remember.
Whose birthday? Come on. Just first name mix up.
Barian. It was his. It was his.
Bitcher Barian. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Because it was his. Because I think the same year, or like around about the same time, we saw Don't Breathe for mine. So it wouldn't have been.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, fair dues.
You've mentioned that every now and then that it was me who took you to see it.
I just connect them together.
I mean, I wouldn't blame you for making that connection. But I want to see the new Batman because Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves, who did the new or some of the new Planet of the Apes movies, which are solid movies, are really good.
Yeah, they really are. I was very surprised by them.
Because it could have gone the whole blockbuster route.
Did a bit, but in a good way.
In a good way, where it was escalating, but at the same time, it was about about Caesar, the main monk.
Well, it's just one of those things where you could tell that they cared. I feel like that's what makes or breaks a thing.
Definitely.
At the end of the day,
you can tell when someone has cared or passion is put in,
like Spider-Verse.
Like
that
Spider-Verse.
film. If you compare Spider-Verse to what is it, The Amazing Spider-Man or whatever the
And I like Andrew Garfield, but it's not great movie.
I'm Electro.
Behold my fixing tooth cap. But yeah, new Batman. I want to see this horror movie called Antlers, which looks pretty decent. Which just looks like a solid horror movie. There's a couple others which I've forgotten, which I want to see. But new Spider-Verse, because they are making another Spider-Verse.
Good.
Well, they're making.
Which would be terrible.
Yeah. They're making a new
it's just
Sonic.
all in like 2D animation.
There's a new
Well,
Sonic.
we're going to see that.
We are going to see that. I saw a tweet.
Pretty
Which
nice.
was just like,
Opening night.
Yeah, I mean, I think it might be the same month even as the new Spider-Verse. I could be wrong. I don't think it's confirmed, but it's around about the same time.
If anything ever comes out.
But I saw a tweet was just like, imagine if the pandemic started and ended with Sonic. Because for me it did.
Yes. Yeah, I suppose it would, wouldn't it? Bruh. That's kind of hot, not gonna lie.
There's a few movies I want to see, but they've just all been delayed. To be fair, I want to see.
There's nothing I'm really looking forward to.
I want to see the new Kong versus Godzilla. I do want to see that.
I'm not buying into the hype of that film.
I mean, I put in chat one bit because I've gone off Marvel movies a bit, but I realise I'm just substituting them for Godzilla movies.
Yeah, I think you know from my taste. I'm not really. I don't really know what my tastes are. It's just if it's popular, I immediately hate it. I hate everything.
I mean, that's a solid
I mean, watching any like Marvel film, it's just I just find them funny, like, but not in the way I think they're supposed to be funny.
I mean, I think the last movie actually, like, I enjoyed Infinity War. That's probably, in fact, yeah, I enjoyed Infinity War. But
I'm definitely in the camp of people who, if Infinity War had been, if there wasn't an end game, I would have been very happy with.
To be honest,
Infinity
same, because I just weren't keen on Endgame. Like,
yeah,
I appreciate
good.
I appreciate what it did, and I don't think it's a bad movie, but it was just not. I don't think the pacing was as good as Infinity War.
Yeah, it was like 3 hours. Also, so many funny logical issues. Like, you know how no.
I was just to say, like, I think a movie can be really long like that, but still be paced well.
Yeah, like any Lord of the Rings film.
Yeah, or like when I watched I Saw the Devil recently, it's like 2.5 hour movie, and it does not give you a breath with how well it's paced.
I fucking need to see them to finish that.
I prefer. I might be in the minority if I prefer it to Oldboy. I like Oldboy a lot, but that's because I perhaps knew more about Oldboy going in than other people did, which is unfortunate. Yeah. I still like it a lot.
What do you mean?
Like, I knew the hey, I knew the twist, and I don't think knowing a twist to a movie breaks actually watching the movie.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I sort of had an idea of how the climax would play out.
Yeah.
But I still liked it a lot, and there was stuff that I didn't know about.
I think it's definitely one of the best acted films I've ever seen.
Main actor. I mean, the main actor in Oldboy, like I said, is in I Saw the Devil, and is terrifying in I Saw the Devil.
I'm gonna after we end this podcast, I'm gonna go watch I Saw the Devil.
We should do that.
I've sat on it too long.
We should do that for the side club.
Yeah, we can do.
I have not say about them.
I feel like it's taken like Western films way too long to even acknowledge. It's, like, I don't know why, but Korean films, and especially North Korean films, seem to just be like, I feel like maybe it's because they're quite different to mainstream like Western films, but like it took them so long, especially, you know how Parasite won like so many Oscars.
It won like 3 or 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Best
I still love.
Like I don't think
the guy who won the Oscar, he just made them kiss.
I don't think the Oscars is any way of measuring a movie, but it is a good way to show just there's a lot of good Korean movies. Like, I've been watching a lot recently. Like I Saw the Devil for one. I finally watched Oldboy, like I said. I watched another one by the same director called Lady Vengeance, which is also very good. Yeah. Which features the same actor. And I need to watch like the first movie he did, which is a lot similar themes. But I was watching. Do you know Chris Stuckman? Movie reviewer. Yeah. I watched his review of I Saw the Devil after I watched it for the first time, and he did a good way of. He talked about the difference between like a lot of Korean movies and a lot of like more Western movies in a pretty good way, which was it doesn't really follow a lot of rules of screenwriting or filmmaking. Like, one of the he gave a couple of examples, and I know we're going to assume these are my points because they're not. But he said how like you follow both characters in that movie quite a lot, when in other movies you perhaps would just follow like the main agent, or like the structure of it is a bit like there's structure there because, like I said, the pacing is really good. The structure there, but it feels less robotic with how it does it. Like the inciting incident needs to be so far into it, when that movie doesn't really follow that. It has a few. It just goes about its ways differently. Yeah. By the way, did you hear about that?
Yeah, I don't like the idea that. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, did you hear about that recent Korean movie? I think it might be called Mirai. I'm not sure, but
No.
it's entirely in Korean, or like most of it's in Korean, and it's about a Korean family moving to America, and like it's more of a drama, and it's supposed to be incredibly good. Like it's directed by someone who's American. It's written by someone who's American. So much of this, but it's a lot about like not even necessarily Korean culture because I don't know much about it, but it's about this Korean family, and a lot of it centers around that and the different values of just things like that. But I don't know if it was the Golden Globes or something, but they outright just came out and said, yeah, it's not going to be nominated for Best Picture because it's Korean. You don't want them sweeping your award show, do you?
Wait, but if it's written by an
Exactly. That's the hypocrisy in it. And it's all about the American dream. So... But yeah, you talk about I Saw the Devil and like general...
Well, admittedly, you kind of backed up my point. What I was going to say is stuff like Parasite kind of shows how the Oscars is such like a Western thing. If you know what I mean, they have literally one category, which is, international films, which basically translates to stuff that isn't, English. And imagine, I feel like the Oscars, if any film could be Best Picture, well, obviously, if it was a film rather than a short film, blah, blah, blah. But you know what I mean? It's so stupid that it's like...
It's clearly biased, is the thing. They're so blunt about it. Like,
I was thinking this today. Every American thing is so like this. Like, the Super Bowl. It's kind of the same, where they have like a song that's played, and everyone wanted it to be SpongeBob, and then it was some stupid thing that was popular. But yeah.
But the thing is, they fucking blue-balled by actually showing SpongeBob footage. So they actually showed SpongeBob footage. It's just. But yeah, I'm just thinking. I ended up like last year, obviously with barely any movies coming out. I didn't really watch any new ones. I just like caught up on all ones that I watched, and I made I was bored at one bit, and I put like a 3x3 of my favorite movies that year, and I put it in chat. And there was one American movie, and that was Doctor Sleep. Which, granted, it's just it's one of those movies, Doctor Sleep, for me, where it's like I can describe why it's good, but I can't describe why it's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah.
But all of the other movies that I thought that was just like my favorite movies were all either Japanese or Korean, mainly Korean. And one of them was like called The Gangster, the Cop, and the Devil.
Right.
And a lot of devils in Korean crime, apparently. But it was just another one of those movies where I don't think it's as good as those other two I've been talking about, but it's a solid movie. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere, and just like I expected just kind of a fun thriller, which is sort of like hour and a half. Yeah, you have what you have, but it did what it did really well, and it's probably one of the better crime killer movies that I've seen in a long time.
I feel like the reason why the Oscars won't let more Korean things in is because no matter how good you be, there will always be an Asian better than you.
I'm not going to deny it. No, in fact, I'd probably even endorse that message.
I've played enough League of Legends to know that's true.
Oh yeah, have you been playing that recently?
No.
So I think I've seen you playing it on Discord recently.
Fake and gay. I would never play that horrible game.
Even if I wanted to play it, I can't with this internet. I mean, I can, but it'd be awful.
Oh yeah, it's abhorrent. If I was to play it, which I'm not playing, of course.
Yeah.
When you do get the lag spikes, it's like being back in 2014 when I used to play it all the time. Just the anger that you get from a lag spike.
Yeah. It's it's funny because I've just become. I still get frustrated by it. But it has to be over time now. But it's a lot more time before I get properly frustrated with it. Like with Siege, we could play it for like 2-3 hours. I'd be like spiking all the time. I just come to accept it because.
Yeah, at this point I'm kind of used to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it gives me a good excuse when I die. I'm like, I would have killed them, if I wasn't lagging, obviously.
What else? I thought of a topic, but again, it's anime. So I'm like, shit. Nah, fuck it. Have you heard of Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yes, I have.
Yes. Have you watched it?
I watched a fake version of it.
What do you mean a fake version of it?
I don't know what it's called, but it's a very good animation, very fan servicey, which isn't, but it follows the exact plot line, literally beat for beat. I've watched like 6 episodes of that and then stopped.
Well, I recently watched the entire series and the movie.
Right.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's one of those movies where it's one of those things where it'd been hyped up a lot, and I knew not to buy into it, so I didn't too much. But it's pretty solid.
Fraser said that the entire thing was ruined by the ending.
I wouldn't say ruined by it, but it leaves you thinking. It leaves you thinking quite a bit.
Well, Fraser didn't watch the ending because he heard what it was and knew he wouldn't like it.
I'll be honest, it's not something that can be described to you to make a judgment call on it. It's really not. Because the whole thing is, the last...
Describe it then.
I can describe it, but it wouldn't do justice to what it actually is. And by do justice, I mean I wouldn't accurately portray anything, really, from the actual series. But... the series is 26 episodes long, and it's very clear. I think the last 2 episodes, which is the ending of the series, they kind of ran out of budget, and there's not. I'll be honest, those 2 episodes are a mindfuck. But after think about it, I do understand it, right? But then there's the movie called The End of Evangelion, which is pretty much replaces those 2 episodes and what is the definitive ending. Yeah. And I enjoyed that a lot, but didn't understand the last 40 minutes of it, which is what I was bringing up in chat. And I'm not... I do suggest watching it because it's an experience.
Well, you really have not described it at all.
I legit can't.
Well, Fraser was like it. He was saying that it was a really like typical ending.
It's nothing typical about it.
Kind of ending that he hates.
It's not.
Oh, right.
There's nothing typical about it.
So give like a brief summary of what happened in the last 2 episodes. Then forget the movie.
All right, in the last 2 episodes.
What would you say how it ends?
Well, I wouldn't. All right, so I'm going to say that the movie.
No rambling.
I'm going to say that the movie is.
Forget the movie.
And I know. I'm going to say that movie is a definitive ending. I'm just going to describe the ending that was given in the series, right?
Yes. Yeah. Forget the movie.
On the lead up until the last 2 episodes, one of the characters was building up to something called building up to their goal, pretty much, which he didn't really know what it was. And in the last 2 episodes, it's literally just either in the characters' minds or in another dimension or something along those lines. And it's literally just instead of an ending to the story itself I was telling, it's more of an introspection into the psychology of 3, mainly 1 character. And it's all about... It's very abstract in the way it portrays its animation, of which they didn't have much budget for, but when it's there, it's good. And the whole thing...
I remember what Fraser said something here.
I can say I don't really have...
Yeah, Fraser's complaint was that it stopped being like humans versus the alien people, and that he said they worked together to fight something else.
That is the most basic understanding of that thing. It's like
But yeah, that's why he ended up not watching the last 6 episodes or something, because he was like, I hate whenever that happens.
it's literally nothing like that. It's fuck all like
Okay.
that. It's so much deeper than that. And so yeah, it pretty much ends with this goal being achieved, which is pretty much it comes across as cheesy, and it kind of is, but at the same time it's the idea that every person is missing one instrumental thing about themselves,
Right.
and by creating this goal, by completing this goal, they'll be able to pretty much create a world where everything merges into one with each other, so that no one will have that missing thing. But at the same time,
Right.
it brings up the idea that people aren't themselves without that thing that they have missing, whether it be relationships or like that drive for something. So it is interesting. Again, it goes far deeper than this. But the whole series, the main character, people who actually know about the series are pissed off by my description of it. This is what I gather from it.
They are pissed off.
Yeah.
Not that they will be. They could.
This is what I
They
got
could
from
feel
it. So I can just say it's my interpretation. But the entire series, the main character is very, very flawed. Suffers from it's never explicitly said, but like the main character suffers from.
But he's got AIDS.
He's got AIDS. Like suffers from anxiety, depression, inferiority, all these things. And the series ends in like this. Now that his goal is completed, depending, because obviously a lot of series revolve around the main character and their decisions, and it revolves around what will happen to the world and this project, this objective, depends on what the main character decides to do in those last 2 episodes. And the series doesn't end with the character saying that he feels better, or like, to quote him, he no longer hates himself. It doesn't end with him saying that. It ends with him saying that perhaps one day he will be able to stop feeling that way. And it ends with them in all this world, with him deciding to work towards that goal, which I like a lot. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Can I talk about the movie now, because it's a logical step forward?
No, we're moving on.
So the movie, I still have not done processing that movie, because
So what time are we on?
for the recording, an hour and a half.
Nice.
Nice.
So you don't need anyone else.
I have a little more to say. So don't worry. There's a lot to process about the movie, as it ends very differently. That's all I have to say. Literally, I don't know how I could describe it, but it is the more ending.
I do.
Go on then.
Anime is gay.
Alright then, thank you for that. Thing is, it gets more complicated, because after the movie,
Anime is gay.
after the movie, like quite a few years later, they've done like reboot, but not a reboot. As in, it's like there's 3 movies out at the moment, and a 4th one coming out.
Right.
And the first movie is pretty much, I thought it was just sort of like a retelling of everything that, just it looks shinier, animation better, same story, with some changes. And the first movie kind of is the same, but then from the second one, completely different way, and even insinuates that it's a continuation of the original series, which I love.
Yeah.
In this really interesting way. And I got finished watching the second movie early today, and it's probably my favourite part of the whole thing so far, because I feel like I gained more from watching these movies, because I've seen them before, but I feel like I gained more from watching these movies now that I'd watched the series and the original movie. It's just one of those interesting things.
It sounds so confusing for everything to like change everything. Like, isn't each movie goes, I guess we'll pick up from this point.
Well, the movie is, because I looked it up, and it's not described as a reboot or a remake. It's described as a rebuilding. I thought that was just I thought that was just a fancy word of saying reboot. But no, it is literally just building on what came before it, but as if it's a new story. Like I said, it's difficult to describe.
So what we were saying is Fraser's right.
What we're saying
is
Fraser...
just skip the last 6 episodes.
Well, I will say that Fraser is misguided. Sorry, Fraser, again. Wow, we're really going in on Fraser this episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, people who are fans of the show will hate that description.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, certainly, they'll hate.
I've got a good description.
Go on.
It's she yenteo. What's it? Okay, yeah.
I still need to continue reading that because I stopped for no particular reason.
Tokyo Ghoul is gay.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
So my topic is why is all anime gay?
It's rather broad. Solely, you have a opening statement.
Anime is gay. Question mark.
Question mark.
If you could be any anime, why are you gay?
It's very difficult to continue a topic like this.
I'd be the gay anime.
I still
which is all of the anime.
Desperately trying to think of something else. I still haven't caught up on watching Attack on Titan yet.
The gay one.
The gay one.
Neither have I. It's too gay for me.
I'm caught up on reading it though, because a new chapter just came out. I'm forbidden
the gay one.
I'm forbidden to say anything about it because I don't want to spoil it.
Chapter 69. This time, Eren's definitely gay.
I mean,
it's weird how whenever the Titans transform, they have massive schlongs.
It's more weird that we don't have massive slongs, if you ask me.
Ooh, is it weirder if the Titans had genitalia or not? Because I still like if they went down the what's that anime where the guy comes on the ceiling, the Netflix one?
Devilman Crybaby.
Devilman Crybaby. They should have gone down the Devilman Crybaby.
I'm thinking of rewatching that
everything
as well.
Because they have the gore. It wouldn't change the rating, probably. Definitely wouldn't.
Definitely. Not a chance.
Just the humans should have been naked as well, I think.
The humans should be naked, only wearing the maneuver gear.
Yeah, and that's why you can't have any female.
That's it. That's the
humans. Because it just gets in the way.
Do you remember that Flash game we played of Attack on Titan? I miss it so much.
I miss that game every single day.
I miss it so much.
Where did it go?
I miss you so. I'm not sure. Researching it.
The thing is, whenever you type Attack on Titan game, you just get like the.
We're not. Yeah.
Just
I own that, and I don't know why. Never played it.
Is it any good? No, you've never played it.
Well, I say I played like 30 minutes. I'm just like, yeah, it's entertaining, but they didn't get the swinging right, so why will I play it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Do I own it?
It was so ridiculously good. Yes, you do.
Alright then. I have no memory of this.
Yeah, I've seen it on your library.
Oh. Yeah, Flash Player's gone now anyway, isn't it? Oh, did it work on Flash Player?
Yeah, Flash is gone.
Surely it's got to be.
Probably.
I just realised, don't look it up because it might contain spoilers even if it does exist.
How to download? You can download it.
Does the multiplayer work though? I will legit re-download this.
Play the browser. It's very sus. You might need a. No, I don't want to. This looks so sus.
It
I'm downloading it now.
Wait, this is so sus. I'm
Save.
downloading.
Oh god, I'm gonna have so many viruses. Launch. Also, should we end the podcast?
Yeah, we should end it there because I feel like we've gone in on a bit of a tangent the last.
What animators get?
20 minutes. I mean,
screen resolution, 1080p graphics, fantastic.
All right, let's end it there. Let's end it before the viruses take over Dan's computer.
Choose camera.
So many red patches on my fucking face.
It works.
It works.